Hi quarantine cuties. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to take some time out of your day to talk quarantine beauty routines. Quarantine. See, when I have my Ari ponytail in, which I told you like weeks ago I would help you do, but when I have my Ari ponytail in, I really feel like anything is possible, so I will be flipping my hair a lot in this video because this is just like the only way that I want to wear my hair these days, and I think it works. It's good for quarantine. I'll probably get some a light traction alopecia. I've already got some breakouts around my hairline because I'm not washing my hair as frequently. Yes, that is a thing. And you get to see all of it in its glory because I refuse to put on makeup because I'm in quarantine and my skin doesn't want makeup on it. And when you start to be in your 30s, you start to get hormonal acne, so anytime you can be away from using anything on your face, you're gonna use it, but still do your skincare routines in quarantine. We'll be talking about those in a different video. Today I wanted to talk about hair care routines in quarantine and what you can be doing to extend your style, to extend your color, to extend your haircut if you don't want split ends, all of those kind of beautiful things, because there's a bunch of things we can be doing all the time in I was like, we can be doing all the time in quarantine, which hopefully we're not all the time in quarantine, but there's a bunch of things you can be doing. See, I just did it again. Somebody asked me this morning if I was a horse girl growing up, and I was like, I was a horse girl growing up, but like I only wanted to be a rich horse girl growing up. So like the horse girl that did dressage or like played polo, which I don't even know if girls play polo, but whatever, don't at me. Or maybe at me. Tell me, do girls play polo or is it just primarily a male sport? Like who knows? Anyhow, somebody asked me if I was a horse girl and I was like, yeah, but I wanted to be like a bourgeois horse girl. I did not want to be like the horse girl that had to take care of her own horses because horses smell. And the reason why I'm thinking of that is because I feel like a pony with my hair in a pony tail. Anyhow, we're going to talk about scalp health, we're going to talk about hair health, we're going to talk about extending your color, and making sure everything is kosher with your head. Not your head. Sorry, I'm not qualified to do that. For your hair. First thing up, let's talk about scalp health. Ooh, it's so exciting. Let's talk about our scalps. Because right now, if you're not washing your hair as frequently as you normally do, you're probably noticing maybe some light pattern zitting around the hairline. That's because I'm not washing my hair as much. I'm not getting it wet as much because I've been straightening it all the time because it's so much easier to look pulled together when you have straight hair. You guys with straight hair don't even know the struggle that it is to be a curly girl in this world and the fight against always straightening your hair, and I've turned into everything that I hate. Anyhow, if we're not washing our hair as frequently, we need to be doing things for our scalp and for our hair that are going to help with its health. For scalp health, I keep starting this segment over and over again, but I keep thinking of things to say. For scalp health, I know it's very popular lately for people to be like, don't shampoo your hair, don't wash your hair, you don't use shampoo, just get it wet. The problem with that is it actually is not very helpful on your scalp. For most people, it's hard on your hair to completely stop shampooing your hair. It's probably not actually that good for most people. And the hairdresser wants you in their chair because a really important part of your hair health is the scalp, and they can really give you that good clean, but they're also checking for things like bump, for dandruff, for other scalp issues that you may be experiencing. So that shampoo becomes something really important. So it's good to have a routine where you're shampooing your scalp in kind of the same way. Here's how I choose to do it. I use a variety of products for scalp health. Number one is the Christophe Robin Sea Salt Scalp Scrub. It is really great. It smells great. It uses a nice coarse salt. I believe there's some coconut oil in it. I should have Googled it before I started this video, but whatever, here you are. Link below. So that one is really, really great because you can get in there and really clean your scalp. The difference between this scalp scrub and some other things like a clarifying shampoo is the scalp scrub is going to be more of a physical exfoliant versus a chemical exfoliant. Sometimes in clarifying shampoos, it's more of a chemical exfoliant kind of thing rather than a physical kind of thing. We'll talk about that a lot more when we talk about skincare. I know. You're like, why would I take skincare advice for somebody who just pointed out all their zits? I do have advice. I've had active skin my whole life in another video. So, salt scrub, you could probably make your own salt scrub. I'm sure there are things on the internet. I'm sure if you just got some coarse sea salt and some coconut oil, go to town. That is my favorite way because I also feel like it doesn't damage my balayage. It doesn't strip my balayage, where a lot of clarifying shampoos are going to strip your balayage. If you don't have dyed hair, use a clarifying shampoo at least once a month, maybe every few weeks. It's really gonna break up that buildup from product. It's gonna break up the buildup from sweat, and dirt, and if your head gets sweaty when you're in bed like mine does, like that's sweat. It's sweat. And that is going to build up on your hair too. So it's really going to help keep your scalp nice and healthy. And while you're doing that agitation, use the pads of your fingers, not your nails, because that will give you micro tears all over your scalp, and you don't want micro tears all over your scalp. Get really, really in there, and you can feel around to see, is there anything going on your scalp? You can get zits on your scalp. It's skin under there. It's porous. It's got hair follicles. It's got all sorts of stuff going on. So take care of your scalp. Another thing, if you're not really into a salt scrub, Way has a sugar scrub. Just kidding. That's the same thing. Except for one salt and one sugar, both crystal white things. Don't use crystal meth on your hair. I'm assuming. Actually, I never really thought about it. I suppose if you got crystal lying around, it'd just be a very expensive scrub to do it with meth instead of with like salt. Salt's a lot cheaper than meth. Bet you didn't know that. So another thing that you can use is a scrubbing brush specifically for your scalp. I use the one from Briogeo. I can really massage in when I shampoo. I do this more frequently with my regular shampoo. Sometimes it feels really good to go in there with a nice, again, physical exfoliator to try and break up all the product, because I do wear a lot of product on my hair. You can use that with anything. You can use it while you're co-washing. If you're a curly girl, you're gonna wanna co-wash. I will say, when I talk about curly girls, I'm obviously not talking about people with natural hair. I don't know how to take care of natural hair. There are so many better people to be following for natural hair, and I'll link some below. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know that world, because I don't. I only know my type of curly hair. Take all of this with a grain of salt. With a grain of salt scrub if you have naturally curly hair. Moving on from your scalp health, because now we know the importance of scalp health, and that's why that When product by Chaz Dean was in the news a lot for making people's hair fall out, and same with Diva Curl was making people's hair fall out. When I read those, I was like, well, yeah, you're not actually ever shampooing your hair with those. They should have never been marketed like that, or they should have had something. I know Diva did come out with a build-up buster for this exact thing. If you're not taking care of your scalp and the follicles are getting clogged by your sweat, your dirt, your skin, because it's dead skin up there, just like everything else. So that's gonna cause those pores and those follicles to block. And what happens when something gets blocked? It falls out. I was not surprised when I heard that people's hair was falling out if they were only using those methods and not adding in that clarifying shampoo and or a salt scrub at least once a month. And I go probably like once a week about shampooing my hair, and something a lot more gentle and nourishing for color treated hair. So I really like the Way Repair, and I'm just always going to be talking about Olaplex. I think Olaplex, the #4 shampoo, it is like magic, especially if you have color treated hair. Let's talk about shampooing and conditioning now that we've talked about kind of scalp health. Every week I get asked if I have dyed my hair blonder. How do I keep it so blonde? Purple products, purple shampoos, purple conditioners, purple hair masks. There has been a moment in quarantine where I just have like all the confidence in the world, and I'm like, I'm gonna balayage my own hair. If I decide to balayage my own hair, I will videotape that for you. I just said I would videotape. I'll videotape it for you. I'll send the master of the videotape to my dad, who has a dual VCR, and he'll make 14 copies for my 14 subscribers, and you'll all get one in your mail. They'll be commemorative. Sorry that you have to buy a VCR in order to watch my VHS of me balayaging my hair. Actually, it would be the smartest thing to VHS that, because it's probably gonna be a disaster if I decide to do it. So like, it should not be on the internet. I won't videotape it. I will film it using technology. I 1000% digress. So yes, there has been a moment where I'm gonna balayage my hair. But how I've been keeping my balayage so fresh, so clean, so bright is, like I said, purple products. I use the Kerastase Blonde Absolut line. It is my favorite. If you're a blondie, you're gonna wanna run out and buy the Clairol Shimmer Lights from Amazon.com, because that shit is cheap. It smells like chemicals. I didn't find it worked very well. All these kids on TikTok are trying to dye their hair purple with purple shampoo. It's not what it's for. It's not gonna dye your hair purple. It is just to tone out, if you get out your color wheel, it is to tone out those brassy tones, and by using the opposite of the color on the color wheel, it's what you use in concealing. That's why they recommend green products for red skin. Same kind of thing here. We are recommending a purple product for yellow brassy tones. The reason why I prefer Kerastase Blonde Absolute line is because it has a lot more blue in it than purple. So it's a very bluey purple, bluish purple, whatever. The reason why I like that so much is my hair has a tendency to go more red orange when it gets brassy versus like yellow brassy. The blue, as you can see, is opposite of orange on your color wheel. Something with a lot more blue in it is going to be better if you have orange brassiness versus something that has, if you have yellow brassiness, you're going to want something a little more purple. Also, blue pigments last longer than purple pigments. If you've ever dyed your hair purple, I've never dyed my hair purple, but I've heard this from people who have dyed their hair purple. Purple doesn't last very long. It's a very hard color to maintain because it washes out super easily, whereas blue does not wash out as easily. You're gonna get a better brightening, especially if you have orange tones in your brass, and it's gonna last a little bit longer than a normal, like just your Clairol shimmer lights. I shouldn't be even talking about that product. It's a terrible product. Do not use that product. It's trash. I use the Blonde Absolut shampoo and conditioner. The shampoo I'll often mix with the Olaplex shampoo because the Olaplex lathers better, whereas the purple shampoo isn't really a lathering shampoo. But more frequently, I use their conditioner, and the easiest way to get that 3 minutes, it's like 3 to 30 minutes or something, they recommend leaving it on. Put it on first thing in the shower, tie your hair back in a bun, and then do all of the rest of the things, wash your face, and then your 3 minutes are up. It's a lighter purple. It's like almost the exact color of this sweater. It's better for everyday use. The third thing I use is the Christophe Robin Back to Baby Blonde hair mask. I think this is the best hair mask. A good 30-minute mask, your hair is gonna be blonde again, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, where did that blonde come from? I didn't even know I was that blonde. It's for a bunch of different tones, and again, it's that deeper purple with a lot of blue in it. So that is if you have balayage, blonde hair. If you're rocking roots with a platinum blonde look, oh my god, you're my queen right now. I used to rock that look. Here it is, oh, my platinum blonde. I use Clairol shimmer lights there. That's why it looks so dead. No, it looks dead because my stylist burned off half my hair, but we won't talk about that. Maybe another story time. If you want to hear about story time about how my hair fell out, great. Luckily, I have like 3 heads of hair, so it didn't really feel like hair fell out until it started to grow back in, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, my hair is really thick. I thought I was going bald. I wasn't going bald. I just had gone platinum blonde. Again, that's all those purple products, just if you are a blonde. If you are not a blonde, that is okay. Good for you. Honestly, I think about not being blonde all the time. But if you have brown hair, if you have red hair, whatnot, there's something called a gloss, and you can get this at Sephora. I work for Sephora. I do not represent the brand. dphue has one. This is gonna help give you back that multi-dimensionality hair color that you had when you first did it. So it's gonna bring out all those tones into the 4th dimension. Just kidding. I don't know what dimension. 3rd dimension? I don't even see in the 3rd dimension. I'm not sure if you knew that. We'll talk about my eyes some other time. Hair gloss will definitely help revitalize the color that's on your head. They have one specific for redheads. They have them for brunettes. They have them just transparent. So if you're like in between, I've thought about doing a gloss on my hair. If it weren't in the shape that it's in now, I probably would, because it's really great and kind of extend, because we're all trying to extend the dye jobs that we have in quarantine, unless we're deciding to go full gray, which maybe we will. And please go full gray. I think this is a great time to experiment with whatever it is you want to be doing with your hair, because nobody can see it, and put it in a bun. And then the other things you can be doing, if your hair's not dyed, there's still stuff for you to do in quarantine. If you have any damage to your hair, get the Olaplex system. The Olaplex number 3 is going to be one of your best friends, especially if you straighten your hair, if you use a lot of heat tools, if you let your hair air dry, it's probably going to be a little too much. But if it has been dyed, especially if your hair has been lifted at all, any box dye, the Olaplex number 3, if you only buy one thing from the Olaplex line, buy the Olaplex number 3. It is a hair bonder. What happens when you lighten your hair, it becomes very porous, and you have to kind of fill back in those pores in order to have strong, healthy hair. A lot of people say keratin does this. Keratin is a protein. It's in your nails, it's in your hair. Keratin does this only to a certain extent, and it's not really good to continually use keratin products because the opposite can happen and it can actually cause breakage. So I would trust keratin to the pros. Like, you can get a keratin treatment at your salon. Like when the woman burned off half my head of hair, I went and got a keratin protein treatment to help secure the rest of the doll hair that was all over my head. And I swore I'd never go back blonde. I always swear I'm never gonna go black blonde, but I always do. The Olaplex is one of those bonders. It really helps fill in the shaft. fill in the shaft of the hair where it's gone porous and help smooth and protect. If you do anything to your hair, get the Olaplex number 3. If you want something a little cheaper and that comes in a bigger tub, the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Hair Mask. Chef's kiss. You're gonna love it. It works on all hair types. This definitely works for naturally curly girls. One of my friends who has very textured hair absolutely loves this. Comes in bulk. That's a big old jar of it, and that's a really good one to be doing after your salt scrub that we've taken care of our scalp. Great time. Just wrap it in the Briogeo and let it sit overnight. I do the Olaplex overnight sometimes as well. Put your hair in a bonnet. Put your hair in a towel. Not a towel. Don't do that. Don't do terry cloth. Do it like a bonnet. And the Don't Repair Despair. The Don't Repair Despair. That's the one they're gonna come out with during quarantine because we're all in despair right now. After you've taken care of your scalp, after you've taken care of your blonde and or your color treated hair, after you've taken care of your naturally curly hair or even just naturally straight hair, after you've washed it all, you're stepping out of the shower, don't forget to add like a leave-in conditioner. The Way leave-in is super lightweight if you don't need a lot of product, or the Olaplex. I really switch out between the Alterna CC cream. It's a really lightweight cream. It's perfect for all hair types. And then if you need a little bit more, I would go with the Olaplex number 6. That one's a little heavier. Add that in too, even if you know you're just gonna throw your hair in a bun and let it air dry or anything, because that'll make the next time that you go to shampoo and condition, it will prevent it from stripping out everything too. The last thing I want to talk about is sleep and what you can be doing in your sleep to take care of your hair. And one of the biggest things that I don't know why I'm so surprised. Women with naturally curly hair have been doing this forever. That is why we see a lot of braided hairstyles. We see a lot of protected hairstyles. We see a lot of bonnets. Women of color have been doing this since the dawn of time. They invented all of this, and white girls are just finally like, oh my god, look at this. This is gonna be great for my hair. I can't sleep in a bonnet. It just makes my head too hot. So I invested in a couple slip pillowcases. You do not have to buy an $80 pillowcase. I think there are some on Amazon. I've been meaning to get a couple of the mulberry silk ones. They're a little bit cheaper. They're not that much cheaper, and that's because you want the 100% silk ones. Satin will work, but satin also can cause static cling, and that will just rough up your hair too. The pillowcases have changed my life. A lot of the flyaways that I used to get are really a lot less noticeable, and especially at this time when I'm keeping my hair straight all the time, it is fantastic for that because it's not mussing up my hair like a cotton pillowcase would. It's a fun little present for yourself that you can treat yourself on, and it does 1000% make a difference. And I'm like, logically, yeah, duh. Sometimes it takes us a little longer. Anyhow, I hope you found this video informative, talking about your quarantine hair care routine. Please subscribe below. If you have friends that might enjoy these videos, please feel free to share. I'm just a 37-year-old woman in my kitchen talking about quarantine beauty routines. Give me a shout out, comment below, and I'll talk to y'all later.